Coast Guard, we know what that's all about. And by the way, the president wanted to take $1 billion out of the Coast Guard to build a wall. And I'm going, wait a minute. Who's taking care of the ocean? The Coast Guard. Stupid. Anyway, so we had that up. The maritime was often ignored. The American maritime industry is headed for the tank. At the end of World War II, we had over 1,200 ships that were American flagged in the 1950s. We're now less than 80 American flagged ships. The mariners are aging out, and the ships are aging out too. And so this is a critical part of our national defense. If we got to send men, material, and women overseas, you put it on ships. You put some people in the airplanes to be sure, but you're not going to send M1 tanks on airplanes, and so you need the ships. And so this is a critical part of it. We've got what we call a whole effort to rebuild the American maritime industry. We have two bills. We call it Energizing the American Maritime, and one of them says that the export of oil, which we now are doing, and the export of natural gas, LNG, which we're now doing, 25% of it has to be on American-built ships with American sailors. And that's going to be well over 100 ships in the next decade if we can get that law in, and we're getting a lot of support on it. Emily heads that up. I think you already had, weren't you standing back there a second ago?
Yeah, I got one question about Travis here.
Yeah.
Is it true the government signed a contract with Boeing to bring KC-46 into Travis
Okay.
in the near future? I think.
Yeah, let's talk,
something
let me
about
just finish this point, then I'll come to Travis and some other things, and we're talking healthcare and so forth, but we can cover a lot of subjects. Anyway, this piece of legislation to rebuild the American maritime is also American flagships, American sailors. This is a national defense issue. The export of natural gas and oil is a strategic national asset being exported, and it gives us the opportunity to really do this. Getting a lot of support for this. Hopefully we can get it passed and part of our Make It in America agenda. Thank you for the question on Travis. Travis is one of two bases I represent. I got Travis, which is the Air Mobility Command. Chief Evalier left there 3 years ago now, and fortunately has been working with me the last 2 years. It is a critical, it's called the gateway to the Pacific, and it is absolutely critical in every aspect of American air power and beyond. So the KC-46 is the new aerial tanker. It is built by Boeing, and Travis will be in line in the next tranche, the next group of planes coming out, which will probably be towards the end of this decade. Not exactly sure, 2019, 20, 21, some in there. It depends upon how fast they're building them and other things going on in the world. But yes, Travis will be getting those planes. As those planes come in, some of the other planes that are there, basically the KC-10, will move out. And so as they move in, KC-10 will move out. Exactly when and how many, that will be determined in the years ahead. Very, very important.
So
important to
very
this.
important to keep Travis open then.
It's very, very important to the American national defense. It's obviously important to this community. Beale Air Force Base up in Marysville, for those of you in Colusa, not so far away, is known as ISR, Intelligence, Surveillance, Reconnaissance. So the U-2s, the Global Hawks, and other intelligence gathering mechanisms, including satellites, all are focused on that air base. So both of these are absolutely critical bases for the American economy, for the American national defense. Okay, I'm going to pass it around. You, sir, in the dark, and then we're going to go quickly with answers.
Hi. My wife and I are both retired public health nurses, so we have been in the trenches for 35 years and seen it from bottom up, top down. Obviously, the priority is to save Obamacare, but what we've seen and what we have to say is that the rest of the system, the delivery system itself, is your problem. Your deficit will continue to grow because there are no checks on the delivery system. Our opinion, we need national delivery system. get rid of the word socialized medicine. There are doctors and nurses and all the other ancillary healthcare people that are important to make it work, that are willing to work for a livable wage. We're not looking to buy and retire on some desert island someplace in the, in the tropics. Your problems are in rising costs of drugs. When HIV drugs go from a few $100 a dose to over $1,000 a dose. Actually, it's less than $100.
Well, your
That's
point
right.
here is,
You know all this stuff's in the news. That's part of the problem. Get rid of the insurance companies. Dump the money into
Yeah, there we go.
well, most of you in this
do
room,
this job, just do it.
if only it were so easy. Your point is well taken. And this is in the debate about healthcare in Washington. There is a fundamental lack of understanding of what healthcare is. There are two fundamental parts to healthcare. One part is the delivery system, which you spoke of, a way of creating a different delivery system. We actually do have a lot of that. But the delivery system of the doctors, the nurses, the hospitals, the clinics, that's the delivery system. And all that goes with it. The other is the payment system. They're two very distinct things. Obviously, they come together. The payment system is how we collect the money and make the payments to the healthcare delivery system. And the debate gets very confused because we merge the two before the appropriate moment in intellectually understanding it. So, take for example, Medicare. Medicare is not a delivery system. Medicare is a payment system. It is a way of collecting the money, taxes, and then making payments to the delivery system. And the delivery system, and those payments are made in many different ways. Those payments are made in a capitated system, such as Kaiser, and common in California. These are called capitated systems. So much per person that are in the organization. That's capitated. Fee for service. For every inoculation, for every bandage, for every procedure, there's a fee, and that's called fee for service. Two basic ways of paying for the system, for the health care. Now, in every case, this goes to your point, in every case, whether it is in the collection of money and making the payments, or in the delivery, we must always strive for the most efficient way of accomplishing the task. Now, it turns out that, like it or not, a tax system is very efficient. There's no advertising. There's no sales commission. There's no big organization. It was a big organization, but it's a very efficient way of collecting money. Medicare, for example. Very efficient. National policy, whether you are in Vacaville, California, or Portland, Maine, you have the same national policy. Same things covered. So you have efficiency. Now on the delivery side, you have both efficient and inefficient systems. But when we look at this debate in Washington, we should always keep in mind, strive for efficiency. It turns out that if we wanted a very efficient collection of money and payment, we would go Medicare for all. Now, obviously, the insurance companies are going to squeal. Well, that's on the delivery side, but on the payment side, it's an efficient way of collecting the money and making the payments. Far more efficient than a private insurance company that has very large salaries, often in the multi-tens of millions of dollars for the CEO. And by the way, that little bill they passed last Thursday eliminated one of the restrictions in the Affordable Care Act that the CEOs could not have exorbitant pay. You didn't know that that was eliminated, did you? Well, the CEOs are very happy because they can get back into the multi-tens of millions of dollars of annual pay. The commissions, the advertising, all of those things are pushed aside. Those are expenses that are not found in the Medicare system. Now, Medicare has the Advantage program, which is additional benefits over and above the standard policy. So, anyway, for years and years, I've been an advocate of Medicare for All because of the efficiencies that are in that particular mechanism. Okay, we're going to move on. You've got me down into the weeds. I'm sorry you did that to me, but here we are.
Are you concerned about the Sinclair media deal? And with everything going on, how do we know what we should be concerned about?
The Sinclair media deal?
Yeah, the conservative.
Oh,
group
yeah.
that-
Well, I'm concerned about so many things, like the cattle on my ranch, all the things we talked about here. Here's what's really, really important for all of us. We live in a very complex, multifaceted society. And we have what is known as free speech. And we're blessed by having that. And in every discussion, there are multiple sources of information. And it is imperative that whether you are a liberal or a conservative or anywhere in between, that you question